got this.
One, two, three, four.
Elech Hamda Libi, Elech Hamda Libi, Elech Hamda Libi, Elech Hamda Libi.
Stop. You're great. You're great. You're not so great. The rule is, if you see the words on the screen, you sing them with us, okay? Yeah, this is easy. Elech Hamda Libi, one more time. Ready, and.
Elech Hamda Libi, 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 Hosanna ve'anati talam, Hosanna ve'anati talam, Hosanna ve'anati talam, Hosanna ve'anati talam.
Together.
Elech Hamda Libi, Elech Hamda Libi, Elech Hamda Libi, Elech Hamda Libi.
Did you know that cantors can speak once in a while? So I have to tell you a
Wait,
story.
it's like we have your mouth handcuffed or something.
I have to tell you a story about a really wise rabbi. Rabbi Lockheim was sitting in the park, and he saw this guy walk by, and he was so upset. And he says, "Can I help you? What's wrong?" And the kid says, "You can't help me. You can't help me. Never mind." And the rabbi said, "Well, maybe if you share it, I can help you." And the kid, he's a college student, he says, "Well, I'm an aeronautical engineering student, and I am really in trouble because my final exam is to build an airplane that will actually fly. And I have this great design, but every time it tries to fly, the wings fall off." And the rabbi says, "I have the answer for you. All you have to do is perforate the wings. Put little holes along in a line on each wing, and it'll never fall off." The guy says, "That's crazy. That can't work." He says, "Try it. It might." So he takes home his plan, and he perforates the wings, and he comes back the next day ecstatic. "My plane flew. How did you know?" And the rabbi said, "Well, matzah has perforations, and it never breaks in the right place. So if you perforate, you've got your wings." Boo!
You listen, my
boo him.
grandfather was an engineer, my father was an engineer, my brother is an engineer, my nephew's an engineer, my son went to engineering school. You think I don't know this?
And my father was a wandering Aramean.
Thank you for sharing my wisdom with the world. So for those who are, thank you for joining us here, those who are in the sanctuary, those who are at home. We love having you here every week. Any way we can make Shabbat a very special place for you here in the room and for you at home, we try and do that. Reminder for those who are at home, if you have a name for our healing list or cottage list, send those to JJ or their comment section, whatever platform you're on. And because we are such a loving, joyful congregation, everyone turn to the camera and wish everyone out there Shabbat Shalom. Not this way. Yeah, you got to look that way. Okay, good enough. All right, we're going to continue with candle lighting. Okay, thank you, Steve. Well, yours are the only hands we can see because you're so tall. So that works great. So we're, it's not my fault this service is going long. Okay, Joel Heller, Karen Heller, Samuel DeVore will be lighting our candles. We're on page 5. So, Samuel, are you leaving us next week or you're not sure? Okay, so Samuel, before he left us, he's going to Los Angeles, and Samuel has been one of the great presences and a great present to our community and our congregation for how many years? 30 years. 27 years. From the very beginning. So we want to wish you a Nasiya Tova on your journey to LA. I will be seeing you in LA because I travel there often, but do come back and visit us, your family. Okay. Joel, you got to read a little English.
We light Shabbat candles to add brightness to our world. It is time to stop, rest, and make the transition from last week to this week. A great pianist was asked, "How do you play the notes so much better than everyone else?" He answered, "I play the notes the same as everyone else. It's the pauses between the notes that I do better than others." Shabbat is our pause between the notes. As we light candles and welcome the Sabbath, we take a deep breath from the busy week, take time to greet Shabbat by opening our eyes, hearts, and minds. We pause and take time to think about and talk to God.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We continue on page 8.
Lecha lecha dodi, lika lika kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, lika lika kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela la la. Lecha lecha dodi, lika lika kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, lika lika kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, v'shmi'anu el ha'me'evad, Adonai Echad, שמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתפילה לה 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 דודי לקראת קלה פני פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה וראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תפילה לה 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 דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise to welcome Shabbat. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובתולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה,
לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue with Baruch Hu. Ba. One more time. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. We remain standing for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. No. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך
So 50 years ago, when I was in high school, I took a professional career test to find out what career I should be in, and I just found that test. It was in a folder my mom kept and sent it to me a couple of years ago. So I opened it up yesterday. I hadn't looked at it in 50 years. And I tried to answer all the questions lawyer, because ever since elementary school, me and Peter Schutan wanted to be in a law office together. So I answered every question lawyer, and it came out religious. So the other thing is, the movie that inspired me to think even more about becoming a rabbi was Yentl. So after Yentl's dad died, she came back from the funeral. Everyone was downstairs partying at the Shiva, and she went into her dad's library and opened up one of the books of Talmud. And I was sitting in a balcony. This was one of the premiere openings of the movie at the time. And I was up in the balcony. I literally stood up to look what those Hebrew words were, because the translation of the V'ahavta had always inspired me. So I think we should read the translation together on page 11. You shall love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your being. These words which I command you today shall be in your heart. Teach them to your children. Speak of them when you sit at home, when you walk on the road, when you lie down, when you get up. Put them as a sign on your hand, and make them symbols in front of your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Then you'll remember, do all my mitzvot, and be holy to your God. I am the eternal your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the eternal your God. It was those words I wanted to understand, and that's why I became a rabbi, to figure out what those words were and what they meant to me.
So we're going to do Mi Chamocha. It's a round. This half of the room is going to sing with the girls in the choir, including Sarah. And the guys and I are going to start again with you, so don't sing. Ready? Remember when we do Vishamru on page 12, that if the whole congregation gets up and spins around even once at the same time, the Messiah will probably come. So if you're ready, here we go.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Beini השמיים
ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. שבת ויהי נפש.
שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות המרית עולם.
Cantor, we were about 2 or 3 people short.
I
Sorry,
know.
next year.
Next year. Well, you can go like this and it counts. So please rise for the Amida. We are on page 14. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Satai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Sing with me.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Satai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Satai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Satai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, העליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ונאמנתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש לשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through to page 18, either standing or sitting.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech adon
So at this time in our service, we offer a special prayer of healing of body, soul, and spirit. And from those at home, you are adding to our prayer list Sophie Solo Goldberg, Edith Feingold, Beth Eisenberg, paramedic Captain Andy Catapano. And this week we are adding Carol Sack. She came down with COVID in Los Angeles, and so did Rabbi Tuckman, who's recovering from his surgery. Mary Cooper, Steve Rodgefeller, who's recovering from surgery, Peggy Hitchcock as well. If there's anyone in the sanctuary who would like to add someone to our prayer list, you can raise your hand and mention that person's name at this time. Joel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, ladies first, I guess, Paul. Go ahead, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. Don't forget. Oh, Dana. You know, it's hard to see your hand in front of that gray. I can't see it. Dana. Thank you. Oh, Jacob. Thank you. Thank you. Go yell out because I can barely see your hand. Yes. Thank you. We also include in our prayers this week and every week all of our diplomats serving overseas, our military serving everywhere. Keep them safe from harm, keep their souls strong, and strengthen them to serve with honor and courage. God, we place all these loved ones and others who are in pain into your divine healing light. You are caring for us, bringing us to our highest potential. There are some with special needs. Please help them, and please help us help them. If your tradition is to rise for the Mishaberach, you may do so. Hold hands if you're with someone who you're allowed to hold hands with, or you can rise just spiritually from your place.
Please be seated. So I do want to make sure that we thank all of our wonderful extra singers. Put your hand up when I mention your name. David and Ember and Rebecca and Benny. Okay, we got our band members, Alec and Mark and Rabbi Danny and Isaiah and Jacob and Chris. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And we got Hannah and JJ on tech and Will on sound, okay? All right.
He said her.
Yeah.
He said her. He said her name already.
I garble my words. It's my accent. Not everyone understands me. So I want you to sing a song with me. Super simple words. The word, you might know this song already. It's Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Coming for to carry me home. So it's like this. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. You're doing so well. One more time. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Thank you, Isaiah. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Now, why am I singing this with you? It seems ridiculous, right? Honestly, it's to do with the prophet Elijah and Passover. I promise you, I will explain in a couple of minutes. But the prophet Elijah, really amazing high point of our Seder ritual. So when do we meet the prophet Elijah, hopefully? At our Seder? Anyone? Right. After the meal, we open the door, we peer outside. Is the prophet Elijah coming to see us? By the way, my son's name is Elijah, and when we do that at our Seder, he does like a funky improvised dance. Didn't do it this year because he's like a teenager and, he's grown too big for that. But that's a wonderful highlight. But we look out to see if the prophet Elijah is going to come. If prophet Elijah comes, it means that the Messiah is around the corner. Peace and perfection, no war, no poverty, no hunger. And so that's why we hope. And my grandfather Maury, when we used to grow up in London doing the Seder, he would nudge the table and Elijah's cup would just shake. And he would go, I can't believe it. The prophet Elijah just came and took a sip, right, from the wine cup. This is great. The prophet's almost here. The thing is, the wonderful thing about the prophet Elijah, you don't technically need the prophet to come through your door. You can actually be Elijah, all right? Hands up here who wants to become Elijah. Anyone? Right, of course, you want to become Elijah. It'd be the most wonderful thing ever. How does this happen? Anytime you bring good news to someone else, anytime you bring a little bit of hope to someone else, then you become Elijah. Now, the song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, was actually written in the 19th century by a black American slave, Wallace Willis. And he wrote those words because he was thinking of the biblical story. What happens at the end of Elijah's life? He doesn't die. He actually is taken up into the heavens in a fiery chariot. If you don't know this biblical passage, you have to go look it up. It's amazing. And Wallace Willis thought of this and composed this beautiful song. And he knew his good news and his hope wasn't necessarily coming around the corner that day or the next day or maybe the day after, but maybe eventually. He believed that things would get better. And so whenever you become Elijah when you give a little bit of good news or hope to someone else. There's a story of a rabbi, and a man comes to him and says, listen, Rabbi, every year for Seder, I open the door, and does Elijah come? It's never there, right? Never outside the door. I'm just getting tired of it. It's just really annoying me. And the rabbi says, don't worry, you see that family down the street? They don't have enough money to make a beautiful Seder. If next year you make an amazing Seder for them with all the trimmings and you're part of that Seder, then Elijah will come to your house. So he does it, helps the family, they have a beautiful Seder, opens the door after the meal. Is Elijah there? I love the optimism. He wasn't there, okay? Thank you, Samuel, all right? And the guy goes back to the rabbi and says, what happened? Come on, you promised me Elijah. Rabbi holds up a mirror, says, look, that's the face of Elijah. You brought some hope. You brought some good news to that other person. You became Elijah. So when people need a bit of positivity, something just over the horizon, that things will get better, and you convince them that that's the case, you become Elijah. Gonna sing with me? Swing low, sweet chariots, coming for to carry me home. swing low, sweet chariots, coming for to carry me home. Sheila, you're from our Board of Trustees. Give us a few words.
My name is Sheila Paris. I'm on the board. I'm one of the trustees, and we're no longer giving announcements from the pulpit. I guess the rabbis are going to be doing that. But we're to talk about ourselves a little bit. So, letting you know, I was born in New York, and my journey brought me out here in '73 to a reservation where I taught on a reservation there for a year. And you always have one of those children in your class that pushes you to do a little bit better. And I knew right away that I had to be in Tucson. There was a special program for special needs kids, and that's how I came here to Tucson. But the best part, I should say, before I came to Tucson, I should say, what was my Jewish background? Well, I was brought up Orthodox. And at the age of 4, my cousin, who was a teacher in the Sunday school, said, "You're going to learn Hebrew," which is what I did. And the first prayer that I learned, Rabbi, was the Via Havta. And the Via Havta, for me, that word teach, just resonated in me. And I knew right away at the age of, by 6, I was going to be a teacher. So I then, made my journey, came out here, and I should say that, getting back to being Orthodox, it never quite fit me well, especially since at the age of 12, I was told that that was it for me for my education. And I loved learning. And again, the Via Havta was in my ear, because what did it say? You have to teach it faithfully to your children. And I said to the rabbi, if I no longer learn, how am I to teach? There was no answer. Anyway, I came out here when I was 21, and in Tucson by the time I was 22, where I will end, like Simon gave us in many different parts. The thing that I remember most about Tucson while I was doing my master's here, there was a family, a Jewish family, that invited me to their Seder. I don't know how they got my name or anything like that, but I was invited to their Seder, and I knew that Tucson was definitely my home. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Sheila. I want to make sure that we share some good news, good things that have happened this week. Now, I believe that Robert McGregor has a birthday, right? Right, you have to say the birthday? Okay, so go to the microphone, Rebecca McGregor. How old is he? 16, okay. She's pointing and she's telling everybody. So that is a big piece of... Thank you, the love between siblings, right? So that's a really, really great thing that's happening this week. Can we hear from a couple of other people? Something good that's happened? Yes, Karen. You had hosted the first Seder ever in your house. Amazing. Chris?
I want to embarrass Alex slightly.
Yeah?
This is his first time playing clarinet in public since middle school.
First time Alex playing clarinet in public since middle school. That's awesome. Yes, Arlo? Your friends come over for the Seder that you folks made? Amazing. Beautiful. That's so lovely. Now, there's all kinds of other good things that have happened. Some of you might be shy to share them, all right? So when we're schmoozing afterwards, then make sure you share the good news with people either side of you, and we're going to sing the Shehechianu blessing for all of the good stuff that's happened.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
So, if we look behind us, everyone look behind you. Everyone look behind you. Can you see in the distance the Sea of Reeds? Yeah? Everybody look in front of you. Can you see at the horizon Mount Sinai? We've got to get from there to here. How do we do it?
I have no idea. Oh,
One
I've
foot
got
in
an
front of
idea.
another.
It's the Omer.
Yes.
Oh, hey, well, that was a great lead-in.
We're so in tune.
So have you learned about the Omer in school yet?
I have not in school, no.
Okay. Did you want to share something about it?
No.
Of course. I'm asking, I want to, I don't want to step on Cantor Cohen's toes. I don't want
Go right ahead.
Yeah, okay. So the inference is at the second evening of Passover, some of you have second Seders, you take a look at your calendar, and it's the first day of the counting of the Omer. It is the counting of 49 days from Passover to Shavuot. So it's moving from Egypt, across the Sea of Reeds, and to Mount Sinai for the holiday of Shavuot. So we count every night, and every night there's this tradition of taking two attributes of God, throwing them together, and figuring out what they mean to you. So this is Gevura of Chesed. Some of you know what those words mean, but the rabbis translate them slightly differently. So Gevura of Chesed is the discipline of love. And I'm going to share with you this rabbinic teaching. So healthy love must always include an element of discipline, a degree of distance and respect for the other person, an assessment of the person's capacity to contain your love. Love must be tempered and directed properly. You can ask any parent in the name of love who has spoiled their child terribly. There's no discipline, there's no boundary, but there ought to be. Or someone who suffocates their spouse with so much love and doesn't allow that spouse any space to provide love for herself of her own. So love with discretion is necessary to avoid giving to those that don't even deserve it. So the question we ask tonight, is my love disciplined enough? Am I hurting my children by forcing upon them my value system because I love them so much? Do I respect the one I love, or is it a selfish love? Is the love that I express to someone out of what I need and what I want without any regard of what they want from me? In my love, is there much emphasis on the one I love and the ability to contain my love as there is on me my giving? Rain is a blessing only because it falls in drops and doesn't flood the fields. Okay, so here is your exercise. So every evening of the Omer, there's an exercise with the teaching. So are you folks who have a relationship, you ready? No? Yeah? Okay, here's the exercise. Help someone on their terms, not yours. Apply yourself to their specific needs, even if it takes some effort on your part. So think about the other person before you think about yourself.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Hayom shnei yamim la'omer. Today is the second day of the Omer.
Oh, should I do the teaching now? Just kidding. No. Those at home, if you have a name for the Kaddish list, send those to JJ or on the comments section on whatever your platform is. We rise for the Elenu, which is on page
20.
20.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש
Please be seated for just a moment before we say the Kaddish, which is on 21. Remembering is a gift. We treasure our wonderful memories. Our sad memories are softened by the passing seasons. We'll always remember those who are a part of us and share those memories with those who now share our lives. We mention those who died or were laid to rest this past week. Libby Fisher, wife of Donald Fisher, mother of Joy, Melanie, and grandmother of Marley, Samuel, and Faith. And those who died within the past month: Barry Goldberg, Julian Justo Gomez, Red Hollander, Jerry Boggs, Irene Steindler, Bernie Elsweig, Stuart Sherman, and Terry Barrow. And those whose yahrzeits are observed this Shabbat: Lillian Amder Feldman, Jeanette Bandler, Ronald Barris, Anne Bernstein, Leo Block, Dr. Charles Blumenfeld, Helen Bolt, Stephen Cannon, Lillian Capin, Dorothy Champion, Francis Cohen, Anne Cohen, Barbara Daniels, Louis Darmstatter, Bluma Davidson, Dorothy Elkins, Isabel Feldman, Francisco Filio, Lawrence Fisher, Sadie Flyer, Kenneth Frayne, Marsha Gawlowski, Eleanor Gerberg, Benjamin Gershman, Albert Glickman, Harry Green, Jean Greenbaum, Robert Grossmark, Alvin Hanmacher, Max Hanfling, Lena Holpert, Francis Holt, Emma Jacobson, Fanny Julius, Morris Kern, Victor Keivel, Rita Knauer, Sidney Leboff, Miriam Linda Levine, Robert Levine, Ruth Levinson, Maxine Levy, Dale Carroll Levy, Joe Leibovitz, Joseph Lichtenthal, William S. Lockheim Sr., Bess Marks, Jr., Bess Marks, Eva Miller, Marilyn Millstone Watkins, Estrella Neumann, Florence Novick, Lawrence Peter, Robert Petrush, Siegfried Pick, Francisca Pick, Leo Pick, Sidney Raven, Israel Rogovin, Ella Rosenblatt, Robert Rosenblum, Samuel Rothman, Maxine Safier, Louis Sandock, Jack Schnur, Max Skolnick, Robert Norman Schwartz, Emmanuel Schwartz, Bertha Siegel, Craig Silverman, Bernard Silverman, Seymour Simon, Matt Slavin, Pamela Jane Smith Meadows, Francis Strong, Bess Side, Tilly Till, Tilly Travis, Irving Vogel, Sophia Wagner, Jetta Wasserman, Leo Weil, Lorraine Whitehill, and Frank Wolf. If there's anybody here in the room who would like to add the name of a beloved, would you do so now as I go around the room? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wendy Wolf? Did you do
Yeah, Wendy Wolf, yes. Did I? Thank you so much. Would everyone please rise as to board the mourners, as we say on page 21.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudisha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlomo Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
Ve'imru, 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 Amen. Ve'imru, 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 Amen. The words to our closing song will be on the screen. You may be seated.
Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu התשבי, אליהו הנביא, אליהו הגלעדי, במהרה בימינו יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, עם משיח בן דוד. We are waiting for a time to come when injustice shall be gone. Hate and violence will be no more. Done with hatred, done with war. And all the people in the land will lend their voices, lend their hand. That day starts with you and me. And Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera Be'amenu, Yavo Eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David.
So we will not wait a minute more.
So we will not wait a minute more.
To build the world we're waiting for.
To build the world we're waiting for.
Building starts with you and me.
Building starts with you and me.
And Eliyahu,
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 Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera Be'amenu, Yavo Eleinu, Ki Mashiach ben David, Ki Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lemaaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu macharta beotanu kirashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Okay, how is it? No, I had one. You had yours.
All right, here you go, gang.
Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Motzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.